Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our next live session. I'll be your producer for our session, but before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor channel. With that, I'll turn it over to our speaker for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Yadan. Thank you, everybody, for joining in for another series of or another episode of Copilot Chronicle series. I'm really excited today because I have one of my special MVPs and a friend who wants to talk about how Microsoft Copilot are redefining our how we work or collaborate and make decisions. I think everywhere this buzzword is that Copilot, but we're going to see like how it's kind of as enterprises embracing AI driven transformation. So we're going to see that whether it could be M365, Microsoft 365 Copilot, whether it could be like streamlining document creation, analysis, communication, or Bing Copilot, where it could enhance your research, insight with real time intelligence, or Dynamic 365 Copilot, where it automates customer interaction and improves service efficiency, or Power Platform. So you can think about various platforms, or you could think about Copilot in various scenarios. So as AI weaves deeper into enterprise workflow, we're going to see how to unlock this new level of innovation and come up with a competitive advantage and shaping the next era of work. So, to talk about this, share his experience, I have today Sentamil, who's been an MVP and he's been working in this industry for a very long time. So, to give you a very quick overview as to what he's been doing, he's been passionate about leveraging tools like Azure AI Foundry, white coding to push boundaries in enterprise innovations and developer productivity. And he also is the co-organizer of Microsoft Meetup Singapore Group, which is one of the largest in the country with over 7.5K members. And definitely, if you are someone in and around Singapore and would love to connect with Santhamel, we will leave his social handles in the chat. So, Santhamel, welcome to Copilot Chronicle series, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Kamal, for giving an opportunity to speak at the reactor. So I'll start with the AI innovation with the Microsoft Copilots. Let me dive into the session. Hope everything is okay and I can clearly see the screens. Yeah. So basically, I want to just give a brief introduction about myself, just to start with. Um, I'm a Microsoft MEP on Azure and slowly moving into the business applications as well. I do more of Microsoft cloud solutions, and I've been an MEP, as Kamal has mentioned, been in MEP for several years, around 12 years now. And you can reach me at Microsoft uh, MEP channel as well as in the YouTube channel as well. And I've been doing SharePoint. I started with SharePoint, then moved into business solutions. Now doing more of on AI Foundry plus the Copilot Studio. So for today's session, I'm going to speak more about the Copilot Studio and how the Copilot Studio integrates with the other platform, especially the Power Platform, to drive into the real use cases, which Copilot Studio can be really useful in your enterprise and the organization. So I'll start with the Power Platform basics so that people who are new about how to integrate the Copilot Studio with the Power Platform will get to know more about how the integration works. And I move into the Power Automate. Why just the Power Automate? Because in an enterprise, most of the time, the Copilot Studio works well with the Power Automate for business processes. Most of the business processes can be automated using the Power Platform or the Power Automate and can be integrated with the Copilot Studio as well. And next, I will give a brief about Copilot Studio. Most of the people have been well versed with the Copilot Studio, but just to have some basics about the Copilot Studio, I will go through some of the basics of the Copilot Studio, and then I will deep dive into the Microsoft Azure, Microsoft AI, as well as the Copilot Studio, especially on the use cases. So there are several use cases which I have implemented the Microsoft Copilot Studio plus the Azure AI Foundry, and I give kind of an information about which one to use and what are the real use cases which you can dive in. Yeah, so those are the scenarios which I go with. So as you can see here, for the Power Platform, most of the people are now familiar with the Power Platform tools and the services which are available right now. Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Pages, Power BI, and the Copilot Studio. These are the Power Pages or the Power Platform which offers the tools which you can use along with the Power Platform. And Power Apps, basically, you can integrate Power Apps along with the Copilot Studio if you are looking for through the Copilot Studio as well as in the Power Automate. And the most of the scenarios which you come across in the Power Apps is that assume that if you are an enterprise and you want to automate few of your day-to-day activities. Example, for an HR application, if you want to do some small leave application and you want to leverage your existing licenses which you already have, then the Power Apps will come in handy. Not only that, when you enable the Copilot Studio along with the Power Platform, the Copilot Studio, you can create a simple chatbot and integrates with your Power Apps. The Copilot Studio can get information from your SharePoint or your existing enterprise solution, which can integrate within and can be quickly developed a simple application and can be developed into it. So that is one of the simple use cases which you can use in for the Power Apps. And next, the Power Automate, which I will deep dive into the subsequent slides, wherein it's a key for the business transformation, especially for the business process which you have already in your existing system. You can completely automate your business processes along with your Power Automate, and it integrates well with your Copilot Studio. One of the scenarios which I have been using the Power Automate with Copilot Studio is that we have several business processes within our organization, especially when it comes to integration with the Dynamics. We have been integrating the Microsoft Dynamics finance and operations and the Dynamics with the customer relationship management. So there are several business processes which are already running on the Dynamics solution, especially when you submit a PO and if you want to notify the vendor on the shipping details. Some of the processes within the Dynamics, you cannot really customize it. So at that time, Power Automate becomes very handy. You can integrate with Microsoft Dataverse, which is connected to the Microsoft Dynamics within at the background. And the Copilot Studio, which it can integrate with the Power Automate. What it does is that when you start querying for any purchase order detail, so the Copilot Studio can automatically get the information which you are looking for from the Microsoft Dynamics FNO as well as from the Dynamics environment through the Dataverse operations, and it also adheres to your roles and the permissions within. For example, if I'm dealing with only the Singapore entity within the Dynamics, I want to automate or do a process of the purchase order and deal with the delivery and should know about the shipping details. The Copilot Studio can get to know the details only within my roles and permissions. It doesn't give you the information which are supposed to be not to be known outside of the legal entity, which is the Singapore. So it is bounded to your roles and the permissions which has been assigned to the users which are logging in. and it gets you the information based on that. Also, you can also integrate with your Power Automate with your Dataverse, and it knows all the processes which are already within the Dynamics, and it can crawl into your Dynamics and it can perform certain operations within the Power Automate. So that's how the Power Automate works. Power Pages, so far in my experience, the Power Pages, the integration with the Copilot Studio has been very less. But there is a Copilot Studio for Power Pages which you can create and publish your websites, public websites with Power Pages again. Power BI, again, it's a kind of a vast area. Right now, Microsoft has a separate Copilot for the Power BI where you can start chatting with data, especially when you are dealing with the customer data within your Copilot. You want to get information related to a specific database or specific reports. Copilot can help you to create a report and you can publish a report. So it's again a vast area where you can delve deep into it. Subsequently, the Copilot Studio is the integration point between all the Power Platform. You can integrate with multiple Power Platform within the Copilot as well. So as I mentioned you before, these are the business solutions which you can delve with the Power Platform, especially when you are doing any use cases directly with the applications or directly with your enterprise solutions. These are the scenarios which you can use the Power Platform within. Power Apps, it's more of a AI enhanced application development with autonomous agents, which you can start using Power Apps to build within your enterprises. HR leave application is one of the one which I have enabled in my existing enterprise. Similar to that, there are several small applications which we have developed, like the travel leave application, travel application, as well as integrating your existing business processes within your enterprise, especially when you want to claim your the travel claim as well as the claims which you are applying for any of your enterprise level. So those kind of claim application also you can use the Power Apps as well. So what happens is that the AI enhanced application, there are two ways which AI can help you with Power Apps. One, it can help you to create a Power Apps within your using the Copilot. And the second thing is that once you can develop your Power Apps, the Power Apps can integrate with Copilot Studio and can get information within your enterprise, especially when you share an information which is already there in the SharePoint. It can crawl the information within your SharePoint and get the full details from the SharePoint as well. We have developed few Power Apps integrated with the Teams app. What it does is that whenever someone wants to understand when a new employee is onboarded into your enterprise, if they want to know more information about the company, the leave policy, and how to apply for a leave and how to apply for a claim, and any information related to the company policies, they can directly chat with the AI chat, and this chat can automatically crawl into the SharePoint frequently asked or FAQ from the HR side or from a policy site as well. And you can question to the chat any question which you can ask for anytime. It's like 24/7. You can ask at any time and it can get you the information. Like, for example, if you want to know how many of the medical leave you have pending and how many of the policies which you have to follow to apply for a medical leave, you can just simply ask through the Power Apps or through the Teams apps which has been developed, and it goes to the SharePoint and it identifies and it can tell you whatever the information which you're looking for, and it becomes much easier for you. Basically, there are several agents which have been created using Copilot Studio, and these agents is destined to do different operations. There are agents which would do only the HR related operations, which are called HR agent. And there is a separate agent which will be developed used to answer only for the policies within the company. And there are several agents which will be specific for your department to understand what are the company ethics or the company policies to be followed and to whom to approach at what time. So there are several agents which has been developed and deployed, and these agents will also orchestrate and will collaborate within, so that you get information from these agents at a specific time. That is about the Power Apps. Power Automate, as I mentioned you, there are several agents which you can create using the Power Copilot Studio. Assume that you have HR agent and you have your own department agent, and there is an enterprise level agent which can answer few queries. Power Automate can help you to integrate all these agents and can help to answer your queries, getting an information from a different agent. Example, you want to understand how many of the medical leave you have and what are the policies to adhere to the company, and how do I apply for a leave, and who is my manager, and how many days to get approval for a leave. So that involves multiple agents to go through, and these agents will interact with each other and will help to understand the question. So for example, the same question, if someone was chatting in, the HR agent will give the information about what are the policies and how to apply for a leave, and the agent which is destined to understand what is the example or what is that to be done on the enterprise level, the agent will get information from the enterprise level and collect those information using the Power Automate, and the Power Automate will at last collect all the information and deliver it to you in a full simplified manner. So that's how the Power Automate used to help for the orchestration as well as the interaction between the agents as well. Power Pages. From my experience, I have not started using much of the Power Pages so far, but few scenarios, like if you want to develop a public website where you want to give information and interaction with the customer and your product details. Assume that you are selling some product and you want to give a full product details about the information. You can create a public website, and again, it is bounded to the licenses which you have. You need to have your anonymous license bought through the Power Pages, and you can publish a website. And you can integrate the Copilot Studio. Again, later I would speak about the licenses as well. If you have a proper license integrating with the Copilot Studio, then you should have your data sources or the knowledge linked to your products. Then Copilot Studio can help you to answer the questions when someone wants to have information when they visit your website. That is one way you can integrate with Power Pages. The other way is that Power Pages also have their own Copilot and helps you to create, design and create the Power Pages as well. Then comes to the Copilot Studio. That is the backbone for Power Platform on developing any AI agents. So if we can see here, the Copilot Studio, previously Microsoft used to advertise as kind of a studio to develop chatbot, but now you can start creating an agent using the Copilot Studio. So simple use cases, as you can see here, automating the approval in the business process. As I mentioned you, if you already have a business application and there are several processes to be automated, you can definitely use the Copilot Studio to get into automating those business processes. Some of the business processes which can be simple, like the leave application, and some can be a medium application which can be automated, especially if you are doing a business travel application which involves the travel application. and getting to approve the travel. And once you complete the travel, and you claim for the business travel. So that becomes more kind of a comprehensive business process, which involves end-to-end process, right from you get the approval to travel and till to the end where you claim your business travel. So the full comprehensive business process can be automated using the Copilot Studio as well as the Power Automate. The Power Automate will help you to do the approval process plus handling the processes in an efficient way. And the Copilot Studio, what it does is it helps you to create an agent, and every time when you apply for a business travel, the agent can help you to identify best possible route to travel for business. Okay, so in that way you can make it efficient for your business travel, to make it easier to book a ticket as well as find the best route and the place to travel. That is about the business process. And also the next one is about the real use case where you can use the AI in generating the dynamic reports. As I mentioned you, the Power BI, it has its own Copilot for Power BI. Apart from that, assume that all your information is in SQL or in SharePoint, as well as in your existing legacy system, like in your Excel or maybe in your Oracle. So agents can be created, and these agents can talk to the legacy system. It can be either SQL or any of the data storage. And once it is connected to all your data storage, then it becomes a knowledge to your Copilot Studio. So the Copilot Studio then understands your data, and either you can create a dynamic report or you can start asking questions to your data within. Like for example, if you want to ask how much of the product which has been sold for the last 6 months, and which is the best product to improve, and what are the sale price for those products. So you can start chatting with the product, start chatting with your data, and the agent which has been created using the Copilot Studio, which can really understand what is the question which you are asking in, and can reply based on your existing data. And this can become like a dynamic reports, meaning that you don't really create a report, but you chat with the data to create your own report, and finally you publish on or you save it as a favorite reports, so that you don't have to ask every time to AI agents. It becomes a favorite report, and the data being updated at the background, so it becomes much easier for you. And the next one is about the mobile apps. And mobile apps, basically there is a Copilot for Power Apps which can create a mobile apps. So in a way that we have used it for a while, but very efficient. Next, about the AI chatbot, which I mentioned you, especially when you are integrating with the Dynamics, Microsoft has already have the agents being specific for sales, specific for operations, and the customer care and the cases. Apart from that, you can also extend Copilot Studio to integrate with Microsoft Dynamics to create your own custom agent regarding the customer support, or if you want to have information about the cases, you can directly integrate with the Microsoft Dynamics, especially through Microsoft Dataverse. So all these can be integrated through Dataverse, and it also goes through your roles and permissions. It not just gives every information which you're asking for, but again, it goes through your role, and whatever the case which has been assigned to you, or you have access to the cases which have been supporting, only those cases can be retrieved, and the AI will give you information only on those cases. Example, if you're working for a customer support and you want to query any information related to the customer support with the product name or with by the customer title. So what it happens is that AI would get to know every information through Microsoft Dataverse, which are in the Microsoft CRM, Dynamics CRM. And these case details are especially those cases, case history, your chat related information on the case, and the customer information related to that particular case, and whether the case been open or how long it has been open, and how long it has been operating. So those information, the end-to-end information about the case will be known by the AI agent, and you can simply query with the AI agent on specific cases. And it is very efficient in answering those cases. Even if the case has been pending for a long time and you want to check any information pertaining to that case, AI chatbot or the AI agent easily can understand what are the cases and what are the information you want. For that, you really need to give access to the AI agent and through the security role. And the security role which you have in the Dataverse, it will abide by the security role which it is already been there. So that's how the AI agent works along with that, along with your chatbot. Next is about the Power Platform. The real use case comes with the Power Automate is that when you integrate your Power Automate with your AI agents, there are several features which can be used. So basically, if you see the Power Automate, people just think that Power Automate is just kind of a flow, cloud flow, which it can automate few of the processes. It's not that the case. There are scenarios where you can get a Power Automate license using an RPA. If you see here the type of Power Automate flows, you can see the cloud flows and the desktop flows. There are scenarios where you can use the desktop flows, RPA, which is the robotic process automation, wherein you can automate your desktop. Last time, Microsoft had an integration with the Copilot, which comes along with the Windows. Imagine if you have a Copilot which is installed on your local machine. What this Copilot does is that it can integrate with Power Automate RPA. Assume that you have a license to the RPA. You can link your RPA to your Copilot. So once you link it and give necessary access to your desktop, then what it does is that Copilot becomes more effective and becomes more clever. That every day when you chat with a Copilot, assume that I just open a Copilot and say that, hey, this is the customer name. So tomorrow, set up a client meeting with this customer for this email. Every day, status meeting at 5 p.m. Friday. So you can just inform it to the Copilot, and what it does is that it uses the RPA and opens the Outlook and set up a calendar invite for that. That is one of the use cases. And second thing is that given a permission to for the RPA to interact with your desktop, what you can do is that you can also ask your Copilot within your desktop to do the automation for you. Like if you are receiving invoices in a PDF and you have all your expenses in your Excel, what you can do is that you can simply mention to your Copilot saying that, hey, get all my invoices and make sure that my expense list, which is listed in consolidate, and then I the to the customer on Monday. So what it does is Copilot will collect, get all information from your Excel as well as your invoices which are in your desktop or in any of the folder which you have, and it does whatever the information which you are looking for and sends out an email. As well as before sending an email, it can even send you the preview. or show the preview, and so that it is ready for sending the email. So kind of you can automate within your desktop. That's one of the powerful feature which you can use it for RPA. I have used few of the automation, especially if you are doing daily um, daily mundane tasks with your system. Then you can automate these using the RPA. So that is one of the powerful feature which you can do with RPA as well. And the real use cases of using the Power Automate as well as for the business events, you can integrate with FNO, and this becomes more of a business event. And some of the customers I have integrated FNO with Power Automate, especially when you want to trigger the business event. You can enable a business event, and once the business event is triggered, then the AI agent can especially get information from the FNO, the PO information, and the purchase order detail, the purchase order client information, and the vendor information, and plus your vendor details plus the PO details as well. So it can get every information from the FNO and can react based on the business event as well. Also, there is a virtual table concept within FNO. That's how the Dataverse comes in. Apart from creating an agent directly in the FNO or Copilot agent within Dynamics, you can also create your own agent connecting directly to the virtual tables. So these tables are nothing but the Dataverse tables, which contains all the information about the same information which is present in FNO. Everything is available within the virtual table, and you can start using those information as well. So in that way, you can create an agent. The agent can literally tell you. So basically, you can create multiple agents. One agent can know the full information about the PO. The second agent can give a full information about the vendor, and the third agent can get what is the status of the delivery status. So you can integrate all these agents using these Copilot Studio. So basically, you can ask, hey, get me all the vendor who are supplying a specific product, and contact the vendor and get the information about those products. And if those products are already been placed in my order list, then get those information and check the shipping detail. So if you are looking for those kind of a detail, all these agents will interact each other and will get you the information based on those available within the FNO. But again, these agents, there are agents which are already available, which is called the MCP server or the MCP details, which Microsoft's already have been publishing for FNO. Right now it is in beta or in the demo stage, I guess, MCP servers for Dynamics, which has the agents already been available. You can start interacting with the agent and get information about whatever the information is available in the Dynamics. So the next is about how to use the Copilot Studio. So basically, the Copilot Studio, which I mentioned you, is more of creating an agent, and these agents can be created at multiple levels. So basically, previously when Microsoft published about Copilot Studio, the Copilot Studio was primarily used for chatbot. And I used to develop Power Apps integrating with the Copilot Studio just for a chatbot. But now Copilot Studio has become a more efficient and clever agent. You can create multiple agents, and these agents can interact each other and give you more information as well. The key features which you can see: multi-agent orchestration. You start to create multiple agents. Each agent does its own operations on its own, and you can collaborate, make it to collaborate within the agent and orchestrate the agent. And second is about the autonomous AI agent, which is through Power Automate. You can create multiple flows, especially to do the business process, and these can be done through the autonomous AI agents. Mostly these autonomous AI agents uses the Power Automate, and these Power Automate you'll have to create it along with your Copilot Studio integration. These Power Automate can be cloud flows, or as I mentioned you before, it can be an RPA. So if you are using an RPA, most probably you are automating your desktop, and it can be it's a kind of a thick client. You install it in your local machine, and it does all the operations within your desktop, and it can even identify what are the folders you have in your system, and it can even get a file, Excel file, and try to send an email or automate your Outlook or your day-to-day operations within your desktop. And custom AI agents, custom AI extensions, you can extend your existing Copilot Studio, and these Copilot Studio extensions are nothing but additional operations which you want to do. So one of the extensions which you can do is that you can integrate your Copilot Studio with AI Foundry, Azure AI Foundry. Azure AI Foundry is nothing but the extended version of the Copilot Studio, wherein you know your model, and you know what is the model to use, and you want to have a fully controlled or customized AI agent, then the AI Foundry would work out for you. Copilot Studio, it's kind of a predefined or kind of a template to easily create an AI agent. AI Foundry, again, you can easily create an agent, but you want to fine tune your models, your you want to understand what are the details within the models, and you want to perform fine tuning on the models which you select. So those kind of operation which you are more pro, and nitty gritties you want to customize, then the AI Foundry comes in. And certain scenarios where you want to integrate Copilot Studio with the AI Foundry is that you want to specifically use any specific model like the ChatGPT model or any specific model to get your answers done. Then you can integrate AI Foundry and extend your customize your Copilot Studio as well. So your agent basically is a kind of a REST API. So from Azure AI Foundry, you create an agent that becomes kind of more of a REST API, and integrate the REST API with your Copilot Studio. And the Copilot Studio agent will invoke the Azure AI Foundry agent and get the information through the AI Foundry and deliver it to your Copilot Studio agent. So in that way, you extend your Copilot Studio as well. Next, about integrating with the Dynamics 365, especially the F&O and the teams. There are few options to integrate with F&O and the teams. For F&O AI agents, you can also integrate with financial workflows and purchase order information, supply delivery, all those information you can integrate with. And this integration happens through your Dataverse. So the Dataverse is the storage, and the data is more like a virtual table. And through that virtual table, you connect it to the AI agent, and the AI agent is more of get to know all the information which you have. That is about the integration with the AI agent. And also those agents which are integrating with the Dynamics F&O, you can also develop those agents and publish it to teams, and the teams become more central location for integrating with all the AI agents. Assume that you have several agents, like the agent which can get information about the purchase order, and the second agent which can get information about the delivery and vendor information. So every agent, either you can publish these agent as app to the teams, or you can orchestrate all these agent and publish as one Teams app. So whenever you question anything on the Teams app, these agent will kick in and will interact each other and will answer you the questions and within the teams. So I have worked with one of the enterprise where the teams is the central location for every information which the employee needs to handle. So every day they open the teams, and any information which they want to have, they straight away go to the teams, and they have several chat panels, and they started integrating with the teams, and teams becomes their go-to place for everything. So that is about teams AI. Next, let me go through the. So basically, for the Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, there are several ways you can innovate using the tools which are available in the Microsoft platform. From the Microsoft platform, for the AI, there are several tools which I mentioned you. The top level tools, which you are known already, and the bottom level, which is more of connectors, as well as the Power FX and the managed environment. You connect it to the environment and get all those details from the options. Second one, okay. This is one of the old slide which I used to give information about the AI platform within the Microsoft. So if you see here, basically for the AI platform, Microsoft have been working with the AI platform from long back, especially through Azure. So starting from ML platform, the Azure ML is already been there. On top of the Azure ML, and this Azure ML is nothing but basically the models which last time they used to have. Long back, around several years back, people who wants to do the AI, they should get to know all the models, and they should know what is the ML and what are the details to get to know. So all this information they need to know before they start even. And after that, Microsoft started customizing it and add several API or the platform on top of the ML, which is like vision, speech, language, decision, and the OpenAI services. So these are separate services which have been operated. And if the company wants to make use of any of the services, they can directly use the REST API, especially the vision API and the speech API, and they can integrate that product. That becomes more like a developer, and the business people who wants to do AI, they really need to have some developer understanding this to develop this. So more of a developer tool than the business tool. Then it comes to the bot services, cognitive services, then they start to have different services, so that integration with their existing enterprise product become a bit simplified and much easier. And again, completely with the developer. So everything runs along with the developer. Then comes to the Power Platform. Power Platform was developed, and then especially on top of these services. So making use of these services becomes much easier. You just drag and drop, or you just initiate as an extension, then it becomes much easier for the Power Platform to make use of it. Then on top of it, we have a Dynamics application. Right now, there are several Dynamics application which uses the AI, especially the sales and sales agent. There is a separate sales agent, and there are several options as well. So it becomes much easier. Nowadays, you don't have to be a developer to do any development for the AI. You just have to make use of the existing services which are available in the Microsoft platform to use the services. And again, this is one of the old slide, but gives you idea about how the Copilot works within the Microsoft platform. Basically, there is a centralized Copilot with centralized Copilot within the Microsoft platform that goes through Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph is similar to the API, centralized API, which can get information from every platform, whether it is from Outlook or PowerPoint or SharePoint, or it can be your Exchange server. So wherever the information is available within your M365, Microsoft Graph get to know. But to leverage the graph, you need to have the Azure AD. So Azure AD is the primary authentication server, and without authentication, you cannot log into any of your Graph API and get the information. So it's more like you need to have those. And once the Copilot or the prompt which you type in, it does the grounding to understand what is the real information which you are looking for, and it goes to the relevant product to get the information. And once the information has been brought in, it uses the LLM model to understand or break down your prompt into reasonable answers, and finally it delivers to your prompts or the question. Why it becomes more powerful? Because it knows all the information which has been stored in the M365, because M365 is a full platform within the Microsoft, and all your enterprise information is already stored in your M365, and this M365 will get information from there and try to answer in a relevant way. So example, right now there are several copilots which are available within Microsoft platform. You might have seen once you log into M365, there is an M365 Copilot, and this Copilot can help you to get information within your enterprise. Assume that you have been doing a pre-sales work for a long time, and you have all the documents of the pre-sales stored into SharePoint, the especially the sales document, PowerPoint, as well as the Word document and other stuff. So all these information, M365 Copilot can easily understand, and it can even create a new sales pitch PowerPoint slides based on the existing slides which you have. So it becomes much easier to create a slide. And it has all the information within the M365 because you're already logged in with your M365 identity, and it becomes much easier for the Power Platform to get the information. Okay, so this is about the full Copilot Studio information, how it works, and then how it leverages the information within the Microsoft platform. If you can see here, the Microsoft at the top, you can see the Microsoft Entra ID is the key. Any information is governed, or the roles-based permission is through the Microsoft Entra ID. And this ID, you need to log in to get all the information. So once you log in, it's basically the RBAC, which is the role-based access control, and all the information which you pertain based on the role-based. On top of it, on the top level, you can see that Azure Open AI services and the Dynamics, everything is binded to the Azure AD, Entra ID. And those are the application with the people would interact. And once you go one level down, these are broken down into multiple parts. One, which is by the topics. Second, by the entity and the LLM. So these are the spaces where Copilot Studio comes in. The Copilot Studio, what it does is that it connects with the existing application. You can create your own topics. So within the Copilot Studio, you create your own topic, and the topic can understand all your entities. Entity is nothing but when someone, example, you have a customer mean, you think of a scenario where you are developing a HR application, leave application, and when you supply information which are in the SharePoint, so these Copilot Studio goes into the SharePoint and read all the information, use LLM, and identify every the FAQ document or whatever the document which are uploaded as an entity, and it store all the entities which are easily navigatable, like the country. So any name which is specified, then it marks it as a country entity, or which is related to your state entity and the person entity. So it categorizes into multiple entities so that easily can be retrieved. And by default, it creates some topic. On top of it, you can create your multiple topic to make sure that when someone starts an conversation with your AI agent, it identifies by the topic. Like if someone type leave, then the leave become a keyword, and a keyword of a leave can be routed to a leave topic. If someone types like policy, then it waits for the policy keyword. Once it identifies the policy keyword, then it will look for another keyword like what is the type of the policy which you are looking for. So based on that, it can reroute to a specific topic. So these topics can be created automatically, or the topic can be created by yourself if you have already been into, if you know already the what is the information which you are looking for, you can create your topics and publish it into the Copilot Studio. That's how you can see here there are several custom topics here, as well as the system topic. System topic is nothing but which is already available in Copilot Studio. And once these information are being gathered, it goes through the LLM and try to answer it. There are several. Sometimes you want to do a business process, then it comes to the cloud flow. So the cloud flow is the one where you can see. Cloud flow is the one where you could see that you can integrate your process, your topic along with your process. Then it becomes like a fully integrated business process with the topics. So that's how it goes in. Okay, so these are the areas where you can apply the Copilot Studio solutions. One on the general AI assistants, where you can integrate with the Windows, Edge, Bing, and other stuff. And for the business enterprise level, you have a Dynamics 365 Copilot, Copilot Studio, and Power Platform, and as well as security. And industry specific, there is a finance Copilot, sales, and the services Copilot. If you have a Microsoft Dynamics solution, then these are applicable. And finally, for the developer and IT Copilot, you have a Git Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and Azure Copilot, and for security Copilot. Also, you have a AI Foundry, basically that integrates with the Copilot Studio and the Copilot, and you can make use of those as well. This is kind of a licensing information. Microsoft keep updating it. Some of them might not be accurate on the pricing, but overall, in general, if you see here, there is an M365 Copilot, Copilot Studio, Azure AI Foundry, GitHub, Bing AI, and then Dynamics. So M365, they have a separate M365 Chat Copilot as well as M365 Copilot. Copilot Studio, it comes in multiple variant. You can create Copilot just using the M365, or you can create any Copilot agent as well. So M365 Copilot, when you create M365 Copilot, the agent will work only within M365. AI Foundry is broad. It is charged based on the model. So you start creating projects, you create your workspace, create a model, and then consume the model. So it's all consumption based. GitHub Copilot is more for coding and for developer. Bing AI as well as Dynamics 365 is for sales and other stuff. So for Microsoft 365 Copilot, there are several variants. You can do Teams, Outlook. So basically, if you have a M365 Copilot license, you can generate a PowerPoint or create a PowerPoint based on some prompt. So even the PowerPoint supply, you can just supply document from OneDrive. Example, if you have a requirement document and you have some technical document available already, you just specify the document link uh, for the Copilot, and the Copilot can automatically create a presentation for you to present in the meeting using the requirement. And if you want to present what is your timeline and those details, it automatically creates a PowerPoint to you, as well as Excel and the Word. So that is for the M365 Copilot. The main use cases for the Copilot Studio. Uh, First one is about productivity. It can automate FAQs and queries and streamline services. Also for the HR and recruitment, assist in onboarding. So right now, few of the organization they have they are using the AI agent. Last time there used to be a separate onboarding process, but now you just log into Teams. Everything is there in Teams. Then the onboarding process becomes much easier. You ask any queries, you ask to the AI agent. The AI agent can literally can answer you. Sales and marketing, there is a separate Microsoft Dynamics sales where it summarizes email. It can identify the customer. It can give you a generator report, generate a revenue report, as well as it can give you more information on that. Similar to the finance. Why do you use a Copilot Studio? So basically, what happens is that last time, if you want to get information, any information within your enterprise, it becomes much difficult because you never know where the information is. But now, considering that the AI agent has been linked to M365, so the whole information within the M365, AI agent knows everything. So you don't have to directly go into a specific location to look for. The AI agent, you just ask to AI agent, and it can help you to understand, give you the information. It saves a lot of time. And decision making, it makes you much easier to make certain decisions when it comes, especially when it comes to the sales and the forecasting. And also it improves your customer experience, uh, especially on the dynamic CRM where there is a case management. You it easily identifies your case and gets you the full information about your case before even getting to know. So by the time you read and understand the case, the AI agent already knows about the case history, and you just have to ask them what is the next level. Then it identifies automatically. So that's about it. Yeah. So these are the use cases which you can get it from the Copilot Studio, and uh, hopefully this is much helpful to you, or hopefully, yeah, that's all from my side. Yeah, any questions or anything which I can answer?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Sandama. Thanks, Yadan. Just a couple of things, Santamal. So you were saying like, so my final thought was like, as AI continues to evolve, I think Copilot are just not like an add-on to the existing workflow. That's what I think. They are become like a trusted partner to amplify the human capabilities, whether it could be work related or a problem that's kind of arising, or a future of work which belongs to an organization, so that they don't just adopt Copilot, they actually reimagine a process, empower employees, or align with AI or with the strategic goals. That's what I'm trying to infer from what you are saying to say about the Microsoft Copilot. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. So basically now AI becomes a part of life, especially through in the work life. If you see, uh, if you take a work experience 2 3 years before, and if you are working now, everyone is using AI, especially the ChatGPT and the Copilot. So it becomes most likely integrated with your day-to-day life, as well as your process becomes much simpler. So obviously it is integrating with your day-to-day work, and it becomes like your partner. Like uh, example, especially in my day-to-day life, every
Mm-hmm.
day I start my work with Copilot because I really have to understand. I do dual kind of arrangement, right? So dual kind of work. One mostly like solutioning architecture. Second, I gets my hands dirty with the coding. So for an architecture, I start my day asking my Copilot what is the best architecture we can be used and what is the solution.
Very
So
true.
Copilot gives me full understanding about end-to-end solution. Obviously, like 80% it is correct, 80 to 90% it is correct, and you really have to validate your solution before you put forth it, whatever the information which you get in from the Copilot. That is about the solutioning. And second, about programming, I use heavily Copilot for programming, especially I do more programming on the TypeScript, um, Playwright, and try to use Azure AI Foundry models and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So every day it becomes my partner. So I mean, it becomes like a vibe coding. Vibe coding now becomes much easier, and it saves my time. So last time I used to spend 5 6 days to come up with a full end-to-end coding for
Mm-hmm.
solution, but now it takes maybe one day or half a day to come up with a solution. So it becomes normal. So Copilot is a kind of a partner for me every day. Yeah, I agree
Very,
with you.
very true, Sandamil. Even I cannot agree more than this because I also been using for a lot of aspects. But I want to understand how Copilot reshapes the decision making process because okay, we know we get the information, we feed in, we get, and it is everywhere. The data is everywhere. So how does it reshapes the decision making process in industries like uh, finance and healthcare, where we heavily rely on the regulatory compliances? How do we kind of think about on those aspects?
Um, so basically, if you are using a Copilot in specific industry, especially for the finance,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I've been working integrating the Copilot Studio as well as the AI agent with Dynamics
Mm-hmm.
F&O, which heavily involves in finance operations, right? So when you integrate and you want to make any decisions based on certain financial calculations plus the financial operations. So one of the thing which Copilot helps really does is that assume that you have a customer, you want to take a decision based on the customer financial information plus forecasting. Copilot, what it does is it, last time we used to pull out so many of the reports about the customer, about the existing market, and collate those information and do a brainstorm. Plus, you need to understand the current market, you need to understand the strategy, you need to speak with the financial advisors, and all those informations are there. It takes around 3 to 4 days to come up with some decision making. But now integrating the Copilot Studio with the existing Dynamics F&O along with the market information available outside, I'm just getting the information in just 2 3 questions. Again,
Yeah,
can't rely 99% on it, but again, it's like 90%. Copilot gives me the information which helps to come up with the decision in just a day. Yeah, it really
yeah.
helps.
Very, very, very true, Santhamil, because I know how things are getting changed in terms of workforce collaborations or skill development or reskilling strategies. But just want to add one flavor of it to understand security, because at the end of the day, we do not compromise on the factor of security. So, Copilot, what measures as a developer or as an enterprise architect we have to take care when it comes to security with respect to Copilot? What measures to be taken?
That is a very good question as well, because most of the time people just flood with the information and it becomes a
Mhm.
security threat. So throughout my session, I enforced or I've been um, pointing out how the Copilot works. There are in the security part, there are mainly two aspects, right? One aspect is that how much of the information which you are feeding in, and what information you are feeding in, and how much of the data goes into the Copilot. That is about the data security. Second one is about responsible AI, right? So these two are the main aspects, and all the security revolves around these two aspects. The first one is about the data. As I mentioned along with the slides there, um, Copilot, what it does is it's like a partner, right? So whatever the information you feed in, it just consumes it and it emits based on the information which you are giving in. So you have to be very careful what information you are supplying into them. In that perspective, Microsoft Copilot is kind of completely restricted along with Enter ID. So any information which you put it in, especially in the M365, not the desktop Copilot which is in public. So the M365 Copilot which you already have, you log into the Enter ID, and whatever the information which you are sharing between, everything is governed through the Enter ID, and it completely follows your RBAC, meaning whatever the resource you are sharing, whatever the resource you are trying to use in within the M365 Copilot, it is abided by your entire ID. That is completely taken care on the data perspective. As per the responsible AI perspective, you cannot be just asking anything within the Copilot. When initially when Microsoft published the Copilot, people were trying to taken advantage of it. But now Microsoft has added more and more governance towards the Copilot, especially few scenarios which I have encountered is that when you start asking about election results, then immediately it is blocked. When you start asking something like a sensitive information to Copilot to make sure you are trying to mend the Copilot to bend it to your thinking, it will immediately cut off the chat. So something that Microsoft has added on responsible AI. Certain keywords they are really tracking in and become more responsible AI. So those two aspects it has been matured now. My experience, yeah.
Very true, very true. Thank you so much, Santhamar. That was definitely a good insight on how the future of work is in AI driven innovation with the Microsoft Copilots, with the flavors of Studio and all that you've been giving. Thank you so much for this wonderful session, and definitely the audience have enjoyed it. They will connect with you on social media for more questions, and looking forward for more episodes with more demo use cases so that we get to know the flavor of this. Thank you so much again. And thanks everyone for joining for today's episode of Copilot Chronicles. And thanks, Yadan, for being a great host. See you in the next episode.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye.